All right, welcome to Devorah Leah Torah class. Now we're Parshas Vayishlach 5786, December 3rd, 2025. All right, so we're learning in this week's Parsha. Um, as we all know, um, Yaakov's name is born with the name Yaakov, right? And And in this Pasha, his name's actually added another name to himself, and it's called Yisrael, right? Israel. So we find something very interesting. We find something very we find something very interesting. What do you find interesting? That Yaakov was not the only one whose name was changed. Torah also changed is the name of Avraham, right? First name was Avram, Abram in English, and then he came Avraham, right? Now, the Talmud tells us something very, very interesting. The Talmud says that if somebody calls Avram, he's doing a violation. Violating? What's he violating? Torah says your name should not be Avram, only Avraham. If a person calls him Avram, he's violating the Torah. Torah commandment not to. His name is not to call him Avram, but call him Avraham. Okay. If you go to Jacob, and it says the same wording, exactly the same wording. Lo yikara od shimcha Yaakov kim Israel. Like by Avram, it says Lo yikara od shimcha Avram kim Avram yeshmecha. Your name should not be Avram, only Avraham. And here by Yaakov it says your name should not be called Yaakov. Your name should be called Israel. And if you call Jacob by the name Jacob, you're not violating. Why not? Same. Seemingly it's the same, right? Avram, Torah changes to Avraham. God changed Avraham, and that's a violation if you say Avram. But Yaakov, if you call him Yaakov, you're not doing a violation. Why? That's the Talmud's question. And one answers Talmud is very interesting. Hada Hadrekra, which means the Torah later on himself calls him Yaakov. Since the Torah after when he changed his name to Israel, Torah calls him Yaakov, is okay, it teaches us that if you still call him Yaakov, it's fine. You're not doing any violation. So you have to understand why. um, so what's going on here? Why Abraham you cannot call him Avram anymore, and Yaakov you can. So in so Chassidus explains there is two levels. Okay, there's two stages. There is a level in the service to God, which is called Yaakov. And there is a service to God that's called Yisrael. Okay? And they're both applicable. So yet, when it says your name should be called Yisrael, means you have a service, Yisrael, but you're not giving up the service to Hashem. There's a way how you serve God in a Yaakov way. Okay? And there's a way to serve God in a Yisrael way. We'll explain that. But there are two different ways of serving God, two approaches, if you will. There's a Yaakov approach and there's a Yisrael approach, and they're both right. They just have different. Everything's right in its own had its own setting. I mean, example, you have like eating matzah, it's a mitzvah, of course. Eating matzah on Pesach. When you eat matzah in Yom Kippur, you're not doing it, you're doing a violation. So everything has its setting where it belongs. Okay, there's a Yaakov way of serving God, there's a Yisrael way of serving God. Okay. Um, Before we explain in order to understand the difference between the two, let's analyze or try to understand exactly what does Yaakov mean. Well, you probably know this. Yaakov means the heel, right? When he was born, it says he was holding his brother's heel when he came out his mother. right? That's one time Torah says, his hand was holding his brother's heel. The other time Torah says that when explains Adiv Yaakov is when Esav realized that his brother he lost the blessings and his brother got it, right? When Yitzchak instructed his son Esav to go and get to capture the animal, capture the goat, the deer, and right, and give it to eat, and right, and basically Yaakov went and shot a goat and gave it to his father, and he got the blessings. And when Esav came back, and then he found out that his brother got the blessings, what did he do? He cried and everything, and he said to his father, "Is that why he's called Yaakov? He tricked me twice." Okay, also akava can also mean tricking, swindling, right? You know, swindle. He swindled me. He misled me. He swindled me twice. He took my firstborn. Now he took my blessings. Actually, just a side note that when Yitzchak heard that, he sold you the firstborn. You sold him the firstborn. That means he does have the right to get the blessings because you sold him the rights. Yitzchak didn't know that Esau sold the rights. Once Esau found out that Esau sold the rights, your brother does deserve the blessing. But anyway, that's just side note. So when Esau described Yaakov as a swindler, right? Yisrael comes from the word sar, which means a minister. Okay, sar Yisrael in Israel, right? You call him sarot sar this, sar that. Right, Sar HaChinuch and Sar, I don't know all the departments in Israel. I just know one. But anyway, the idea of Sar is a minister, right? I'm going to say Sar Bitachon, whatever it is. Actually, maybe I know another one. Okay, anyway, Sar is a minister. So what's the idea? Let's just try to understand what's the idea of Yaakov, idea of a swindler. Well, what is his, what did Yaakov do? What's his concept here? Yaakov, in order to get the blessings, what did Yaakov have to do? One of the things he did was what his mother gave him his brother's clothes. What clothes are they? You know, Esav, okay. Esav, he's killed the Nimrod to get his stole to get the garments, the special garments. These were the garments that Adam had in Gan Eden, right? God made it for Adam, for Adam. And when he was chased out, but anyway, he gave him clothes. And those clothes went. Then the whole story how they were transferred from one to another. The other generation went till it went to Noah, who took in the ark. When he came out of the ark by the flood, his son Cham stole it. Cham gave it to his son Cush, and Cush gave it to his son Nimrod, and basically Asa wanted it, and he killed Nimrod to get those garments. That's the day when he came home, and his father. That's when he left. And then that's when he wanted the soup from his brother, lentil soup, right? And that's when his brother he sold his firstborn rights for it. But anyway, he didn't trust his wife for those garments. He gave it to his mother, and his mother gave it to Yaakov. What's the idea of Yaakov wearing it? Not only physically wearing it, so Esau should be hairy, and his father will not realize that it's Yaakov. Not only that, also spiritually, meaning it had certain sparks in it. And Yaakov had to wear it to elevate the sparks that were inside. So he had to wear the garments of Esav, which was also from Nimrod. Which Nimrod was the one who rebelled against God, and he got everyone else to rebel against God. That was his, that's what he. And Yaakov had to wear those clothes. What's the idea of wearing it? The idea of wearing it is to take the sparks out there and elevate it. Right? Elevate the sparks that are in those garments. Utilize it for the right. But everything has sparks of holiness inside of it. Sometimes it's very buried, very hidden in there. You have to take those sparks and elevate it. Okay? Use it for the right purpose, you elevate it. Now, how does basically a Jew, how does he go to work with eating? He does things in the world, material things. eating, sleeping, working, all that stuff, right? It's a way of a ramai. He does in a way of a swindler. What does that mean? Doesn't way of a swindler? Obviously, yeah, it's honest. He doesn't trick anybody. What's the idea of a swindler here? What's a swindler? A swindler thing. When you have a real professional, if you can say that word, swindler, tricky, someone who tries to scandal, he will look like he's your friend, right? He'll be your friend. He'll be your friend. Wherever he'll do everything, seemingly and right. Seemingly, he's your best friend. You trust him and everything. He becomes your friend, and the last when it gets to the point, that's when he'll flip it over and trick you. That's a real professional swindler. Seems like he's a friend. He come in, you give him all the information, everything he needs, and boom, the last moment, twist it out, trick you. What's the idea? The idea of the idea is that Yid goes into the world, eats, and non-Jew also eats, drinks. He does everything. It looks like he's doing what it's a horrible, what the world he does. What a regular person does. Doesn't seem like he's doing for the sake of God, but he does. He eats and drinks and lives. But the moment he doesn't live for God, it's externally seems like he's on the side of the negativity, eating and drinking like everyone else is. But when it comes to the point, down to the punchline, he's doing for the sake of God. He's eating and drinking, but he's doing it to give him life, to give him strength to serve God, to do mitzvahs. He's working in order to make a living, or to serve, to have money to buy food, to do mitzvahs with the money that he has, to live as a Jew is required to live. So externally, it looks like he's like everybody else, but really, his intention is completely different, right? That's the idea of a Yaakov. He has to be in the world and act like a regular person in the worldly matters, but he, his intention is different. What's the idea, right? What's the idea of Yisrael? Yisrael's idea of a minister. He doesn't have a fight. There's no debate. He doesn't have to wrestle with the negativity. He's above the negativity. It's not like he has to have wrestle with it and use it for the sake of God. There's no wrestle. He doesn't. It's to begin with. He's doing it in the right purpose. He has no opposition to. For example, I'm talking maybe theoretically. Practically speaking, during the week, okay, when you eat, and you have to say, no, I'm eating for the sake of God. You could eat for anything. Eating because I want to eat. I don't know. I enjoy food. Okay. Doesn't, but a Jew knows he's serving, he's eating and drinking, but he's doing it for the right purpose. So the outcome, ultimately, it's the purpose of it is for the good reason, right? For serve God. What's the idea of Shabbos? Shabbos, you're like Yisrael. You're eating to begin with is a mitzvah. The actual eating is a mitzvah itself. It's not only the outcome of the eating. Because I eat, I have the idea the idea of the eating on Shabbos is a mitzvah. There's no struggle. I don't have to struggle with the evil. That alone is a mitzvah: eating, drinking, and so on. Right? And right. So that's the idea of the Yaakov is like during the weekday, serving God, for example. It is, but I'm saying this idea: you're involved in the world, but you have the right. You're tricking, you're swindling. You're doing for the right purpose. Yisrael, there's no struggle. You're beyond. You're higher than the negativity. You're higher than everything else was going on around you. And that's idea of what does the angel say? When the angel had to give him the bracha, he was forced to let him go until he actually gave the bracha, gave the blessing. So what did he say? He says, Kisarisa im anoshim elikim v'anoshim. You ruled over God and people. What does it mean God? Can't rule over. What does it mean you rule over God? So it means the angels. Sometimes the angels are called elikim. You know that? Like, and you're probably familiar with this. You say in Shabbos prayers, that's from Psalms, I think 136, if I'm not mistaken. Right? praise the Lekei Elokim. What does that mean? The God of the Elokim. What? The God of the God? It means the God of the angels. Hold the Lekei Elokim Kilam Chasa. One of the Kilam Chasas over there. I'm referring to. Anyway, so there's one thing is the angels. You rule over the angel, right? And then Anashim is people. What are these two oppositions, so to say? What does that mean? Elikim, as you know, there is Ein Soim. There's 70 ministers in heaven, spiritual ministers, angels, and the physical, material stuff goes through them. Everything God dictates everything, but it goes through them. So a person has to rule over it. In other words, the physical material that comes through the 70 ministers in heaven, spiritually speaking, what a yid has to be over it, on top, standing on top. It means he has to kind of be he doesn't have a fight with he doesn't have a wrestle with the negativity. He rules over it. There's Anoshim. What does it mean, people? What type of opposition of people? What does that mean, rule over people? There is idea of people. Sometimes it's very difficult. It's the hardest thing that people have. What is it? People embarrass, insult you, laugh at you. It's the most someone who's you're serving, you're doing what's required from you, living away, conducting your life according to the way Torah expects, or Torah demands, and people laugh at you, ha ha ha, and it's very, very hard to overcome. And it's so difficult and so hard. If you look in the Shulchan Aruch and the Code of Jewish Law, there's 4 sections. Every section has many chapters. Every chapter has many laws. The first section and the first chapter in the first section and the first paragraph of the whole Shulchan Aruch says not to be embarrassed from people laughing. It's a foundation. It's the first law the one that a Jew learns. It's a foundation of Judaism, of everything, of serving God, not to be insulted, not to be embarrassed, not to be deterred of people laughing. I mean, I could just go to a side note of my grandfather, blessed memory, and he came to Israel in 1933, right when Nazis, we had to he escaped Germany, and he was working in Tel Aviv. And he working with other gardeners there, and to be insulted. And there are many Jews who weren't for whatever reason not observing the Torah or living like a Jew's supposed to, expect it. And he was insulted, and he washed his hands when he was a gardener. So he had many colleagues, and every day lunch he washed his hands, and and they laughed at him and insulted him. And see, that generation, they knew what it was. Later, you don't know what Yiddishkeit is. They weren't educated, didn't understand. These people knew. Many of them were probably in Chedo in Europe. They're all immigrants, most of them anyway. They knew what it was, but they laughed at him. Oh, you old whatever. My father tells me he doesn't know if he'll be able to withstand the insults that he went through. For 20 years they did it to him, but he didn't budge. He didn't budge a drop. He stayed strong with his Judaism, with his and if he wanted us, he would have budged. I won't be here today. I mean, I won't be who I am at all. Anyway, back to the idea of the foundation of Yiddishkeit is not to be insult, not to be yispaish, embarrass from those who laugh at you. So that's even harder. So you got it says when they came, you ruled over the material stuff, the physical things which come from the 70 angels that you managed to rule over, and even great on top of that, you even overcome the difficulty, the challenge that other people can present to you. The other excuse me, negative people who can give you, insult you, laugh at you, and all that stuff, overcome that. That's the idea of Yaakov. That's the idea of Yisrael. You're above all of it. So, and it's not like Yisrael, there's no fight at all. Yaakov, you have to have a challenge. Yisrael, there's no challenge. You're above everything. You're above the opposition. Okay? Now it says in the Torah, which is a book from the Alter Rebbe on Chassidus, on the Parshas of the week. So it says there, you probably may be familiar with this verse. It says, "Lahibit oven b'Yaakov le'ra amal b'Yisrael," which is actually talking about the blessings of Bilam. Bilam, right? He wanted to curse the Jews, and God forced him to bless the Jews. So he says, "Lahibit oven b'Yaakov." God does not see sin by Jacob. Amal, he didn't see any effort. Amal is like a harvanya in Yiddish, hard effort, hard work by Yisrael. Oh, so by Yaakov, you have the idea of oven, sin. But there, Amal is no hard work, exhaustion, work in Yisrael, meaning Yaakov does have hard work. Right? There's no sin by Yaakov, he has hard work. Hard, and a lot of effort. When it comes to Yisrael, there's no hard work, there's no sin at all. What does that mean? Every Jew has the ability to overcome his evil inclination, his evil Yetzirah, his at least thought, speech, and action. We're not going to say his soul. Not every Jew has the ability to destroy his Yetzirah, to get rid of his animal, get rid of his evil inclination. But he has the ability to control it. So a Jew has the ability. So he doesn't have a sin because he's working on this sin, not to have it. He's putting this work that he shouldn't have to sin. It's very hard. Yes, it's a lot of effort. But he has the ability to do it, to accomplish that. When it comes to Amal, yes, he does have the Amal. He has the hard work, but he doesn't have a sin. He's able to overcome it. When it comes to Yisrael, there's no effort. He's above the whole thing. There's no challenge. He's above the challenge. It's not. To begin with, not a problem. I mean, a simple example. I mean, you can say there's some Jew who has he has kosher food, non-kosher food, eat pork or not eat pork. It's not even a question. I have no desire to eat the pork. It's not even a challenge. I don't know. Pork. It's this guy. That's one. There's another guy who has a challenge. He's not going to do it, but he has a desire. Somebody told me, I never tasted it myself. I can't say, ooh, it tastes so good. He tasted the pork. Oh, it has such a good taste. Oh, it's so good. For that person, yeah, it's a challenge. Exactly. Yeah, that's a challenge. That's a Yaakov. The other Jew who doesn't even have a problem with it, that'll be Yisrael. That's not even a question. There's no struggle. There's no problem. He doesn't enter his mind to want such a thing. Okay, so now, so what's the idea? The idea of Yaakov is Yaakov, and then there is Yisrael. Yaakov, as we said before, is Yud, and there's Okev, which means the Yud, and then there is the heel. Meaning he has to bring down. He has to have the level of the soul of the Neshamah into his body all the way down. When he has a challenge, when he has a difficulty, but he's gonna fight the challenge, and not let his evil control him. Then you come to the Yisrael is also comes from the word Rosh. The letter, how you spell Rosh? Reish Aleph Shin. If you look in the word Yisrael, you have Yud, then you have Rosh. You have Reish Aleph Shin. That's Sin and Shin can interchange. So you have Rosh like a head, not the heel like Yaakov. He's above. Now, You have every person, there's idea of the Sadiqim, which is the idea of Yisrael. Then you have the idea of Yaakov, which is a regular person. But everyone has the level of Yaakov, and everyone has the level of Yisrael. Even Sadiqim have Yisrael. Sorry, excuse me. Even Sadiqim, which are regular Yisrael, also have the idea of Yaakov. Also have that. How do you have every person? Um, as before I said to you, like idea of yeah, you have the idea of like for example, eating Shabbos. Shabbos, the Jews above the worldly matters. He's not involved in worldly matters. He's above. Therefore, after Shabbos, we say, Atira after Yaakov. Don't be afraid, my slave Yaakov. Why are you saying that? Because after Shabbos, go back to the weekday. It can be very depressing, very scary. Shabbos, the day off, you're not involved in material, you're not involved in the worldly matters. You're above. You're not separate from everything that's going on, the regular hustle and bustle of the world. You're above, you're out of it. Then it comes after Shabbos. You're scared. Is this what? So many people actually in their Lava Malka, in their Zmiros, in their songs, which is printed in they say, Al tira after Yaakov. Don't be afraid, my slave Yaakov. Yaakov. Going back to weekly, but don't be afraid. And not only don't be afraid as instruction, we give you Al tira, don't be, we give you the strength not to be afraid. God doesn't only give you instructions, he gives you the ability to do it. So don't be afraid when you're involved in the world and God's there to help you. Like it says that every Jew, like Yidach imenu nidach, no Jew is ever pushed away from God. Every Jew will do tshuva. No matter how far he thinks he is, he will always come back to God. Now, next day, it will happen. It will happen. It's going to happen. Every Jew. This cycle, the next cycle, reincarnation. It's going to happen. Mashiach will come. All the Jews will be. Every Jew will be come back openly and revealed closer to God. So why? Because every Jew is Neitzim Atoy. It says Neitzim Atoy Masi Adalei Spar. Every Jew has a portion of what to come. The nation, all your nation is righteous. And Neitzim Atoy, like a branch from God's planting. Masi Yadai, with the work of the hands of God, so to say. God's proud of us. God's proud of every Jew. So God is proud of all of us. So we need to do we to realize that every Jew, God is proud of us, no matter how far we might think we are. We're always close. God's always, we're gonna come back, and therefore we know we should come. We can do it right 1 second earlier. We're always connected to God. We can openly reveal our connection to God. Okay, so this is basically a interesting talk. Hope you enjoyed the talk, and hopefully we'll see you next time. God willing, next week. Everything. Thanks
I
for
had a quick question. When
yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
later in
Thanks for joining.
future Parsha, when Yaakov is talking to Pharaoh, is he Yaakov instead of Israel? And is there a significance to that?
I think he's Yaakov. I'm not
Because he's kind of moody and gloomy, and he's like, I've lived a long life and it's been hard, and
right. I have a challenged life. Matvaroim. It's
yeah, yeah,
middle
yeah,
and it's right. But I think he said come on, I think he said Yaakov over there. Yeah, it says
yeah,
Yaakov. Yeah,
yeah.
he's
So
talking
I
about
wonder if
yeah.
there's a significance to that, while he's young.
Obviously, yeah, it is. Every time sometimes Torah calls him Yaakov and they're going to Israel. So that's
Right,
Yaakov.
right, right.
He said,
And
yeah,
then, can you just quickly go back over what you were saying at the beginning about elevating sparks? Was that when Yaakov was visiting Asaph?
no, when he wore Esau's garments for the blessing.
Oh, right. He was elevating the sparks from the garments.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
you were
yeah.
saying? Okay, okay, I missed
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. So he was wearing Esau's garments, and yeah, he was